You're fasting for days, 48, 72 hours or more, and your belly still won't budge? If you're over 35 and this has happened to you, don't blame yourself. There are specific common blockers that make abdominal fat stubborn after midlife. This video is about extended fasts, not the usual 16-8 intermittent fast, and I'll walk you through 5 likely reasons your belly fat isn't responding, what to look for, and what to try next. If this describes you, leave a comment below. I want to know if you're in the same boat. First, a slowed baseline metabolism. As we age, many people have a lower resting metabolic rate. Lifelong patterns of being overweight, repeated crash diets, childhood exposures to certain medications, or long-term prescriptions can all lower metabolic tempo. Practically, that means calories burned at rest are reduced, so you need different strategies and sometimes more time to see changes. Look for clues in your history. Were you always a heavier child or young adult? Have you been on multiple antibiotics or steroids? Are you on medications today that affect metabolism? What to do? Get a medication review with your clinician. Prioritize resistance training to preserve and build muscle. Optimize protein intake during your refeed windows. And be patient. Some metabolisms simply require longer, staged approaches rather than quick fasts. Second, constipation and poor bile/liver drainage. This one surprises people because it's not about discipline, it's mechanical. Retained stool can weigh several pounds and hide fat loss progress. Beyond stool, sluggish bile drainage from the liver and gallbladder can make it harder for your body to move and process stored fat. Bile helps emulsify and shuttle fat. If flow is impaired, the mobilization pathways can be less efficient during a fast. I had a client, a woman who completed nearly a 3-day fast with almost no visible loss, until we addressed her bowel movements and bile flow. Anecdotally, we tried a short course of purified bile salts taken 3 times daily on an empty stomach to support drainage, alongside a plan to restore regular bowel movements. Within days, her scale and measurements began to shift. That's an anecdote, not a prescription. If you consider anything like this, consult your physician first, especially if you've had gallbladder surgery, gallstones, or take medications. Availability and formulations vary, and a clinician should rule out contraindications. Third, chronic stress and elevated cortisol, including stress from unresolved infections. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. When it's chronically high, it favors blood sugar production and can promote fat storage, particularly around the midsection. Ongoing infections, even low-grade ones, can keep cortisol elevated. Signs include persistent fatigue, difficulty recovering, feeling wired despite being tired, or a recent illness that won't quite clear. What helps? Targeted stress reduction, breathwork, brief daily movement, counseling. A medical check for chronic infection or inflammation when symptoms suggest it, and strategies to improve insulin sensitivity so your body is less likely to hold on to glucose and fat. Fourth, poor sleep. Sleep loss is one of the most underrated metabolic saboteurs. Bad sleep worsens cortisol rhythms and blood sugar control, and it undermines the hormonal benefits you're trying to access with fasting. If you're frequently waking up, falling asleep late, or getting less than 6 hours, expect a blunted fasting response. Improve sleep hygiene, set a consistent schedule, reduce blue light in the evening, and treat sleep disorders if present. If you need sleep support short-term, discuss options with a clinician. Better sleep will amplify everything else you're doing. Fifth, water retention and other masking factors. Short-term weight can shift due to sodium intake, inflammation, menstrual cycle, or medications that hold fluid. These things don't mean fat hasn't been mobilized. They can simply hide the drop on the scale. Track measurements, pictures, and how clothes fit over several weeks rather than single-day weigh-ins. Hydration, moderate sodium control, and addressing inflammatory triggers will reveal true progress. So what's the practical checklist to move forward? First, confirm regular bowel movements and address constipation safely.
Second, prioritize electrolyte and micronutrient status. Include electrolytes, B vitamins, vitamin D, and trace minerals as guided by a clinician. Third, work on insulin sensitivity through low-carb strategies, resistance training, and consistent eating windows when you aren't fasting. Fourth, reduce chronic stress and have any suspected infections evaluated. Fifth, improve sleep quality. And finally, allow time. If you have a slow metabolism, meaningful changes may take weeks to months rather than days. Safety note: extended fasting and new supplements are not risk-free. Get medical clearance before attempting multi-day fasts or starting supplement strategies, especially if you have medical conditions or take medications. That woman's case is a good reminder. Small, targeted fixes, restoring bowel clearance and supporting bile flow, combined with the basics of micronutrients, sleep, and insulin sensitivity.